everybody. We are honored to welcome Ms. Halima Khurshid, a distinguished clinical psychologist with extensive experience in child and adolescent mental health, with a strong academic background that includes a master's degree in clinical psychology from the University of Management and Technology, Pakistan, and a specialization in child psychology from a renowned university in UK. Ms. Khurshid has dedicated over 8 years of supporting the mental well being of young individuals. Her commitment to providing evidence based interventions and her passion for research in parenting, anxiety, interpersonal difficulties, and behavioral management have made a significant impact in the field. Beyond her clinical work, she's an ardent advocate for mental health awareness. Fostering meaningful dialogue and reducing stigma altogether. We're thrilled to have her share her experience and insights and expertise with us today. So, welcome, Halima, and over to you now.
So thank you so much for this nice introduction. It feels so good about hearing about it from someone else, to be very honest. And welcome to everyone else who has joined us, all the participants, and thank you for sparing your time and getting yourself registered in this webinar. So basically, today I'm going to talk about how you can study internationally and apply in different international universities. I have covered the general guidelines, but I will specifically be talking about the psychology. So I'm hoping that I have more participants from psychology background. So moving towards the agenda of today's webinar, so we will start with a little bit introduction of myself. Then I will start up talk about how to choose the right university and right course, because these two are the most significant component when it comes to studying internationally. Then I will tell you a little bit about scholarship tips available for the postgraduate students in the UK, the application process of the university, and then the visa application process. Because both of these things are different from each other. Then I will tell you a little bit about the life in the UK, how students adjust in the UK, and how is the wholesome the experience is. Then I will tell you about my university experience, my own experience in the studying in the UK. Then I will tell you a little bit about if you want to work in the UK as a student, what options do you have? And then I will specifically be talking about psychology in the UK. What is the scope of psychology in the UK if you really want to practice as a psychologist in the UK? I will share some of the useful resources in the end, followed by question and answer sessions. So, starting with my introduction, Ms. Rabi has already introduced me very well, but I just want to highlight few things. I basically started my career in psychology from a bachelor's in psychology in 2015. I basically graduated in 2015, and immediately after my graduation, I took admission in clinical psychology. It was a 2 years intensive training program from the University of Management and Technology, and I worked in different placement settings as a trainee clinical psychologist there. I have worked in these 2 years, in 2016 to 18. I have worked with children with special needs, then mainstream school children, adults, adult psychopathology, and with the older adults as well. So after graduating in clinical psychology, I immediately got a job as a school psychologist in one of the special education inclusive setup in Lahore, and it was one of its kind in Pakistan. It was a very good setup, and I worked there as a school psychologist. And my interaction was with the children with special needs and with the mainstream children as well. And I worked there for 1 year. Side by side, I was working as a consultant clinical psychologist in Masood Hospital, where I used to go to give sessions and take sessions on weekends. So it was not like a full time thing, but it was like a very good thing for my experience because I really enjoyed the clinical work. In 2019, I basically joined UMT as a lecturer, and I left my work as a school psychologist in Cornerstone, but I continued my hospital thing with me. So I worked as a lecturer in the university for more than 3 years, and it was a very different experience because I got the opportunity to not only teach the students of clinical and clinical psychology, but also supervise them in the clinical placements and the research. So while I was doing my clinical placements, so the courses that I used to taught was mostly related to children, and I used to supervise uh, basically those trainee clinical psychologists who used to work in the school area. So school was my genre in that period. So there I had this thing in my mind. I never knew when I started my career that I would be working with children. But I I realized that it is my niche. I really enjoy working with them, and by working with children, you can actually work on the prevention or the problems, and you can stop those things from happening or from aggravating in this critical time period. So then I decided to go to the UK and specialize in child psychology. So I was lucky enough to find this course, and I consult, and I started the whole process, and I luckily I got the admission. And now, just like 1 week ago, my results has come, and now I am a graduate in child psychology as well. So I have during my this like you can say 7 to 8 years time span, it never happened that I remained idle. There was always I was always doing some things, whether it was an employment thing or a education thing. Normally when you apply internationally, they ask you this question that my last degree was in 2018, so why you are suddenly thinking in 2023. So they really asked me this question, the visa department, the UK embassy. So then I attached my work experience and told them that I was actually gaining some work experience. And after learning about my work experience, then they gave me this opportunity to approve my visa thing. So moving towards this webinar, so there are basically five basic things that I will particularly talking about. Basically, I will try to give you some valuable insights into applying to study psychology in the UK, choosing the right university and courses, how to navigate scholarships, how to, after you get the admission in the university, how to get the visa application get it done, and then the scope of psychology in the UK. So first things first, choosing the right university and course. So there are three things. The first and foremost is that researching about universities. The one of the most important things with regards to psychology in the UK is being a member of British Psychological Society. So British, I will tell you a little bit about it later. So basically, you have to find those universities that are accredited by the British Psychological Society for psychology degrees. And UK universities are very famous for their psychology programs, especially if you talk about University College London, King's College London, and University of Manchester, University of Oxford and Cambridge. These are very popular among the psychology graduates. Also, there are key websites like UCAS. UCAS is basically a UK based website, and basically they have this knowledge about all the universities, undergrad universities, postgrad universities in the UK, and they give you their standards, their ratings, and everything, the research. So you can go there, you can find the right information, you can choose what university do you want to choose for your post graduation or graduation. Then there's Times Higher Education, QS World, and QS World University Ranking. So basically, these are just kind of organizations that basically assess the universities and give them rankings. We have heard about it as well. Even I think few years, like 2 years ago, we came to know that QS World University Rankings ranked UMT as the number one private university in Pakistan. I'm not sure was it Quest World University, but I think it was a little related to this thing. Anyways, so you can go on these websites and you can find the right universities. You can find about their research. You can find about their placements. You can find about other criterias that should be present in a good university, and then you can choose to which university you want to choose. You can choose that. Next, it's types of degree. So when it comes to after graduation options, so if you have graduated in psychology, and or if you have, even if you have graduated in another discipline but you want to pursue a career in psychology, then you have two options when we talk about post graduation. The first thing is post graduation taught degrees, and the second one is post graduation research degrees. So what is the difference between these two? So basically, the postgraduate taught degrees are those degrees that basically focus on the courseworks and lectures and seminars. They basically utilize, they have their course modules, and they basically utilize a big chunk of the time of the student in teaching and learning about things and assessment and everything. And in the end, they take this they a research thesis or a research project, and you are do the research original work and submit that. For example, MSc is a postgraduate taught degree, and it is 1 year full time for international students. And if you really want to develop professionally or work in or want to gain a specific knowledge in specific field of psychology, then it is a good option to choose. For example, if you want to practice as a psychologist in the future, that's your career goal, then it's a good route to you to choose postgraduate taught degree, because it will develop you professionally. The other degree is postgraduate research degree. So basically, they don't have that much coursework. Basically, it is like a independent research, supervised research kind of thing, where you work independently under the supervision of your supervisor. And then there are few very structured classes. For example, MPhil. We have in Pakistan MPhil and PhD. So these degrees are basically even if you talk about the masters, there is a degree MRES. It's masters in research. So for example, if you want to do MRES in child psychology, then what you are supposed to do, that you have to do a regional, your coursework will be very minimal, and you have to do research in the child psychology area. So these kind of degrees are ideal for those people who really want to have a career in research or teaching, because these are very, the career wise, these universities are aligned to that. The third thing is course selection tips. So basically, after finding the university, or you can choose the course, you can you categorize your courses, and you can categorize your university, then you can see in which university which course they are offering. So if you talk about the course selection tips, like the field which you particularly you are really want to go in, so you need to ask yourself that what kind of area basically aligns well with your own career goals. Because I have just told you that I basically worked with children in these 6 to 7 years. So I knew that I enjoy working with children. I want to expand my knowledge in that particular area. So that's why I chose child psychology. So you can choose health psychology, you can choose educational psychology, clinical psychology, whatever you want. And but the main thing which you really want to consider is that your course must be BPS accredited. Now BPS accredited means it should be accredited by the British Psychological Society. So all the courses that are in the UK, psychology courses, they are not BPS accredited. So what does BPS accreditation mean? So for that, I would like to tell you about a little bit about the British Psychological Society. So British Psychological Society is a very old a representative body of psychology and psychologists in the UK. It's not like that organization that basically gives you license to work in the UK, but it basically joins together all the people related to psychology, whether they are studying psychology, whether they are graduates in psychology, whether they are trying to find work in psychology, whether they have become psychologists. So you need, and they basically have different kinds of memberships, like student member for those people who are students of psychology. Then they have graduate member, and graduate membership is a very prestigious membership for those people who really want to pursue their career in clinical psychology or any other field of psychology in the UK. Because whenever you will go for doctorate or these kind of thing for higher education in particular area, they will ask you that are you a graduate member of the British Psychological Society. This is that important. So these are awarded to those undergraduate degrees that are accredited by the society. So if you are, for example, if you have chosen that course which is not BPS accredited, BPS has not assessed the course, they have not ruled out the highest standards of quality and research and training in that program, then they will not give you that membership, and you won't be able to pursue your career in the future in that particular area. So and then the third one is the full member. So full member is awarded to those with qualification in psychology and working in the field of psychology. So I basically applied for the graduate membership when I was in Pakistan. So I really wanted to be part, because in my university they used to encourage us to to join these prestigious APN and BPS and everything. So what I did, I, on the basis of my MS clinical psychology, I contacted them, and I showed, I expressed my desire, my wish to become their member. And then they asked me to share my research, my course outline. They basically it took at least like 3 to 4 months. They assessed my course outline, and yes, they said yes, your uh, you know the things that you have studied in MS clinical psychology is, is according to our standards and according to our training levels, so yes, you can be a member of graduate, you can be graduate member. So when I became a graduate member, I was in Pakistan, and in that time I wasn't thinking of applying in the UK. I just did it out of just to continually just to advance my professional skills. And then because when you become a part of British Psychological Society, and obviously you have to pay the annual fees and everything. Then what happened that they give you a lot of resources. Then you get the opportunity for online webinars. Some are with fees, some are without fees, so you have get all these extra benefits, and you can professionally advance in so many ways. And there are in-person options. If you're living in Pakistan, you are in Pakistan, you can stay updated with all those things. You can attend those webinars which are online. That's a very good thing. That's a very plus point, and these are all for those students who are members of the British Psychological Society. But when I was applying to the universities at that time, I didn't know that I should opt for that course which was BPS accredited. I didn't know about that thing. Nobody told me about that thing. Even if you go to the consultants don't have any idea about that much idea about psychology in the UK. They will give you general guidelines. You have to research. You have to find things. So then, so nobody guided me about finding that course that was BPS accredited. So luckily or unluckily, I got in child psychology by Nottingham Trent University, but it is not BPS accredited. My degree, which I have done, is not right now. It is not accredited by the BPS. But just because I already had this graduate membership because of my MS clinical psychology, I was lucky enough that I didn't get disappointed, and I was, it was not a very bad situation. So if it wasn't, then I was must be in a very I would have been a very bad situation. So the short things, if you really want to tell you in short words, it's like that you need to get graduate membership of British Psychological Society. You cannot think of working in the UK, anywhere in the UK in psychology, if you don't have graduate basis of chartered membership. So for that, I will share you the resources in the end. It's very easy. You can go and you can check the website. You can see the things, and you can, if you want to apply in the UK, then you need to find those courses that is BPS accredited. And universities has written down on their websites that this course is BPS accredited. So you need to find that. Okay, so why a BPS accredited course? Basically, it is a prerequisite for pursuing further professional training in clinical psychology. For example, if you want to do a doctorate in clinical psychology, because you can't practice in the UK as a psychologist after your master's, you need to have doctorate in clinical psychology. The other thing is that you can apply as an international candidate in the UK, and you can tell them about your training in Pakistan. Then they will analyze your whole academic history and professional history and your experience. Then they if they think that your training is up to the par of their training, then they will give you license to practice in the UK. And it is done by Health and Care Professionals Council, HCPC, which I have highlighted in the second point. So accreditation is very, very important. So the third thing is that they ensure high quality. I've just told you, high quality education and training, and all those employers who basically employ psychology graduates, they basically prefer those graduates who have this membership or who have studied BPS accredited programs. The third thing is scholarship. So there are different kinds of scholarships available for international students in the UK. Number one is government funded scholarships. So these scholarships are funded by the UK government for Pakistani and other nationalities students. And for example, Chevening scholarships and Commonwealth for masters and PhD scholarships. So these scholarships are basically they're fully funded, but they're very, very competitive. They're very competitive, and you need to find a lot of information about it online. And they have their own separate websites. You have to go to their separate websites, and then you need to find eligibility criteria, the deadlines, and everything. I am not going into that detail. It is very, very complex, but you can find about this information online. It's available. Even they have Facebook groups on these scholarships. If you write down Chevening scholarships, you will find a Facebook group. You can join their group, and they will have the useful information you can get on this. The second one is university specific scholarship. So university specific scholarship, for example, um, I have researched that I am going to Nottingham Trent University. Then I need to find what kind of scholarship this NTU is offering to me as an international candidate. So it depends on your eligibilities. For example, your CGPA, then your financial need. So basically, depending upon so many things and among so many applicants, they basically rule out that how much they can give you in terms of scholarships. So mostly they don't give, they say that they are fully funded scholarships like University of Oxford, Cambridge and Edinburgh and Glasgow. But there are very rare universities they basically offer fully funded scholarships, because to be very honest, they are very very competitive. And normally they see so many things, so many documentation, so many everything, that they basically will offer you like a very little amount, like only 10% or 20% or 30% scholarship. So even 20% or 10% is not that bad if you're, because the normal fee uh, is, my fee was £16,000 for 1 year. My course was 1 year and was £16,000, and £16,000 is a very very high amount if you convert into PKR. So obviously these courses are very expensive, very expensive, but if you go for right scholarship you can get the discount, proper discount. But if you really want to apply to the scholarship, then you have to look into these things and research very early, like 1 year before thinking of applying to the going there. The third one is country specific scholarships. So country specific means I am coming from Pakistan, so what is Pakistan offering me any kind of opportunity? So yes, they do. It's HEC overseas scholarship, so they have this information online. So specifically they give this scholarship to those who really want to pursue career in research, because they are very much fan of research. So you can find the information on the website. Then it's PhD funding. So if you really want to, and one thing more, if you really want to pursue your career in UK, it doesn't mean that you have to go through the master's thing. In UK, master is not a compulsory thing. Even you can apply for the PhD with your undergrad degree. So it's totally fine, yes, but they will prefer someone with a work experience. So for the PhD funding, you can look for UK Research and Innovation Scholarships. It is a very prestigious, um, uh, very prestigious, very famous body in UK. And basically, let me tell you a very interesting fact, that if you get this scholarship, UKRI scholarship, then you can even apply for global talent visa, which is particularly for those bright students who basically go comes in the, come come into the UK, do the research, and then they give, and that global talent visa means that you can get the citizenship in very very few years, in like 3 to 4 years or 5 years. So the normal process takes almost 10 years if you want to get citizenship in the UK in the longer run. But global talent visa takes lesser time, but for that you have to grab the UKRI scholarship, and for that you need to check their websites. They have, even you can search with these keywords online, that it's called studentships in the UK. So you can say PhD studentships psychology. So mostly are funded by the some are funded by the university, and mostly are funded by the UKRI. So you have to look for that, and it's not only for psychology; it is for all the disciplines, specifically for the medicine. So next thing is, I've just told you that you have to consider the application timing. So for scholarships, you have to start as early as possible, as they have long application process and early deadlines. Criteria is academic excellence. They will look for your academic CGPA. They will look for your financial need and the leadership potential. You have to submit very strong personal statements, and you have to, basically sell yourself to them and tell them, convince them why they should give you the scholarship. One thing that is very important to tell you here, there are some scholarships that are funded by the government of the UK or the government of Pakistan, that will that will be given to you, but only on the condition on commitment to return to your home country. So if you're really planning to settle in the UK, then you cannot choose these kind of scholarships. And you, because they basically want you to come back and return, serve your own country. So if you really want to settle in the UK, then you do need to you need to go for university specific scholarships. So application process is not that difficult. After finding choosing the right course and the right university, what you can do, you need to prepare documents. You need to be aware of your you should have your academic transcripts. It doesn't need to be attested by HEC, but just you need to have your academic transcripts, degrees, and certificates, all your extracurricular certificates or your achievements. Then you need to have a very good personal statement, and personal statement is the most difficult and the most important part of application process anywhere in the world. If you are applying for a, even for a job in the UK, you need to provide your personal statement. A personal statement means that you need to highlight your interest in psychology, your personal experiences, and your achievements, and don't ever think of copy pasting from Google or Chat GPT. It will, you will be, damned. And then letters of recommendations. So reference letters, so you need to gather those reference letters of the last 3 years. It can it ideally it should, one should be the academic, the other should be the professional. If you have worked anywhere, even if it's a voluntary work, it still counts. Even if it's an internship for the longer duration, it still counts. So you need to provide that. The fourth thing is we all know that English language proficiency test certificates, IELTS or TOEFL, and the process is not that difficult. You can go to the British Council website in the Pakistan and you can find the information on the IELTS. I personally have done IELTS, and you need to have, I think, 6.5. Do your band should be more than 6.5. It should not be less than 6.5 for mostly psychology degrees. And you have to start as early as possible. Okay, next the visa application process. So once you have applied into the university, then they will give you this unconditional, it's called unconditional acceptance letter. What that means, that basically they give you 1 month time to submit your dues, and not now. Some universities ask for the whole amount. Some universities will only ask for the initial deposit. So for example, 2,000 or 3,000 pounds, and you need to submit that. After submitting you it also, if you have a scholarship, it also depends on that as well. It will be different for the person who has a funding, or you have scholarships. So anyways, for after depositing that amount, you will get the confirmation of acceptance for study. So confirmation, which is also called CAS. So is basically your, what should it be called, you have to trade it for 1 year. It's just like your ticket to the UK. That's your ticket to the UK, because that means they will ask you about CAS on airports and everywhere, immigration, and they will ask you about that. So if you have come to the UK, where is your CAS? Show us the proof that university has actually accepted your admission. So it's a very important document. It basically has all the information about you, your student number. Then they will give you your course start date, course ending date, and everything. So for the visa, you need CAS, the first thing. And second thing is your bank statements. And I think the consultant, I will personally suggest you to go for consultants, because they are expert in these kind of things. There are some people who basically do their own visa application process, and sometimes things get dirty because they're not experts. You're not, so you need to, you are investing your so much energy and time in one thing. I think you need to do it very nicely, very professionally. So but it's important which consultancy you are choosing. So I can refer you my own consultancy, so I have no problem in that if you want. But you have to find the right agent, the right consultancy. You have to look for the reviews online, and then you have to go for it. And I would suggest you to look for personal recommendations. Like I'm personally recommending you any, someone else personally recommended that consultancy to me. Now I'm personally recommending that to you. So then they will tell you about all these bank statement things. To be very honest, I don't have any information about it, but basically it requires a lot of money into bank account to just to prove that you have financial means to go in the UK and settle in the UK, stay in the UK. The third is your IELTS test certificate. Then you have and plus it should be, the score should have it must be more than 60.5 of that, the required range. Then the UK visas and immigration have their own application form. You have to fill that. Then you need to show the experience letters, because um, uh, to be very honest, when I submitted the visa application, I didn't submit my experience letter. And what happened that I only submitted my academic transcript, and I don't know how it got missed. But then they sent me this email that what you have been doing in after 2018, and now you are thinking of just, out of nowhere you have come and you have said that I want to pursue degree in child psychology. Why? Then I shared them my experience letter from these three organizations, and then they came to know, yes, she has been working in the field, she is in the field, so there should be no gaps, and if there are any gaps, you need to justify those gaps. What were you doing at that time? And that the last, yes, I've already covered this point. You have to address the gap in studies or employment. Okay, so now you've got the visa, you are in the UK, and I really hope you all get, you all find your places wherever you want. Anyways, so now you have to prepare for your life in the UK. So I think I should tell you a little bit about it, because you should be aware of it before taking this, this big decision. So basically, the first thing that hits is a cultural adjustment. UK is a very multicultural country. It's very multicultural. You will have lots and lots of people of different ethnicities and different races around you, and it's like a, it depends on your personality as well, what kind of person are you. But I really enjoy interacting with people from different cultures. They tell us about, even my class has people from Somalia and Nigeria and different African countries, and we have some European students, then we have some UK students. It was very low percentage, and mostly students were international. Then I had like 20 to 25 people in my class who were Indians, and I had only one other girl who was Pakistani. So we two were Pakistani, the mostly students were Indian. So you really enjoy, and India is so big, they have different cultures in in the UK, in the India as well. So you really enjoy interacting with them and everything, but it takes you some time to adjust to that thing. Second thing is adjusting with the weather. The weather here is very unpredictable. Sometimes it rains, and sunlight तो आपको नजर नहीं आएगी ना. You're just like वो एक क्या कहते हैं उसको, उदास उदासी उदासी रहती है. तो वो लोग जो कि इस चीज़ के लिए वल्नरेबल है, यू विल टेक सम टाइम टू एडजस्ट टू द वेदर एज वेल. उसके बाद knowing how things are structured. So here everything goes by the rules. So you have rules for everything, for even living, for even throwing the trash, garbage. There are particular rules. There are certain trash baskets for certain kind of garbages. There are they have proper rules. So you will get all of those things will feel so overwhelming in the beginning. It felt so overwhelming for me in the beginning that I didn't know how to pass even at one day in the UK. But it takes a lot of time, but it eases down slowly. Then familiarity with the I've told the familiarity with the rules and regulations of the university and your the this country as well. Then they are different. There must be differences in academic culture. I remember when I came here, I went to my teacher. I called him sir, and everyone saw me like, what's he talking about? Who's sir? You can only call teachers by their name here. So it was very weird for me because I have never called my teacher with my name. So here you have to call everyone with their first name. So they won't mind you. It won't be a sign of disrespect. Even you're respecting that person, so you have to call that person by their first name. So that was a very different thing for me here. Then the way assessments are, there are different kind of assessments. It wasn't, I would say, in terms of academics, it wasn't that difficult for me because I just had a similar kind of experience in the Pakistan because of my teacher, Dr. Zahid. But things are difficult when you there are different people from different backgrounds. So yes, differences are there. Then you need to be punctual. You can't be late here. You need to be punctual. So if the train says that it will come at 9:01, then it will come at 9:01. And if it is late, like 2 or 3 minutes late, they even you can't even think of that they will be late. But if for some reason it gets late, like for 5 or 10 minutes, then they will give you compensation for it. They're even ready to give you some money, that they have, you have waited for us, we were late. So it means 9:01 means 9:01 here. You need to be punctual. Then the worst thing of all is homesickness. You miss your homeland so much, so much, and everything about Pakistan, about your homeland. But you need to give yourself some time. and time heals everything, they say. I don't know but you have to give yourself time, and in due time everything becomes smooth, everything becomes easier, and you kind of understand a lot of new things, and you grow a lot in terms of professionally, personally, emotionally, so spiritually. So it's not like a dangerous thing. You have to get out of your comfort zones to grow in life. The second thing is work experience and volunteering opportunities. So once you land in the UK, you have to find any volunteer work here. Even if they're not paying you, you can go there once a week for a few hours, just to get the references here, just to get the just to familiarize yourself how the things work in here, because here everything is so difficult. Even you can't even think of going near a child without having a proper certificate that's called DBS here, that basically screens that if you have any criminal record or not. So I will talk about that later as well. But it means that you need to get yourself familiarized with the culture, with rules, and with everything. So the more the more you will familiarize yourself with these things, the more easy it will be for you to get a job in the future as well. There are jobs available for there are different agencies here, so you have to get yourself registered with those agencies, and then those agencies find work for you. I'm talking about the students. So there are very good opportunities for those people who want to pursue, because I have known about the child psychology only, so I can only guide you about that. So you can go in, you can register yourself with that agency, and then that agency will find you work in schools, and schools have their SCN, because these schools are inclusive. They have the special children with them, and they will find work for you. Then you have to work with those students as a teacher assistant. So it's like a good start here. You can you don't come I didn't come with this mindset that I was clinical psychologist in the UK, and what is this work. You can't be that, because here everything for them, non-UK experience is like nothing to them. They want your UK experience, and it's like you have to start from the scratch. But the how you present yourself, because even you it doesn't count, but still it has taught you so many things. So when you go for the interviews, when you show them what you know, so basically it's like a good opportunity for them to know about you, and even they can give you show offer you some more better opportunities. So it's not like a wastage of thing. Your work experience matters a lot in the UK as well, but don't come with this mindset that I will get a high-fi job on the first day of landing here. Then the third thing is mental health support. So university, for the international students, every university has their international departments, and they provide you support. They have the website, they have the resources. You can go there. If you have finding it difficult to adjust, you can talk to them. It's very easy. Even if it becomes difficult for you to talk in English, they have the interpreters. No worries. Even NHS has the mental health emergency service, NHS 111. So you can call as a student. You can tell, even you can talk, ask, request them for the interpreter, and you can talk in the Urdu, and he will interpret it for you for the other person. So it's not that difficult here. It's very easy. Because some people feel it very awkward that how will I communicate in the English here. So it's not that difficult. Once you and trust me, nobody will judge you for speaking wrong English here. There are so many natives here who speak wrong English, wrong grammar, but it doesn't really matter here. It's fine. Then they have online resources and peer support groups, even online Facebook groups. They have their university groups, so you can join those groups to for your mental health support. So my own university experience was a good experience. What? Oh my God, I need to wrap it up. I'm so sorry. So it was a very good experience. I really liked to interact multiculturally, and I really like knowing about different cultures. I remember hearing about different kind of traditions that happen in different with children in different cultures. So it's like a very interesting thing for me. We had this in NTU, we had this global lounge activity. So it was like a building, it's called a global lounge, and in that global lounge there were having different kind of country specific activity. For example, if it's Holi, Indians have their Holi, so they will have their activities related to Holi. If it's Eid, they will have some Eid related activities. So it's like a very good thing knowing about different culture, and also it depends on your interest. Then you get to know, I got to know about different networks, about different career fairs, because university, uh, in terms of employability, NTU is top in the UK. it's ranked top, so mostly NTU graduates get jobs soon, because they have this employability departments here. So basically they guide you how to prepare for your interview, where to find the job and everything. So they conduct these career fairs regularly. You get to know people, you get to know companies, and they offer help without any kind of financial benefit. So it was a very good thing for me. They have the sports and gym membership, you can go for the extracurricular activities for relaxation, everything. My research experience was very good. I worked in qualitative research. I interviewed those Pakistani first generation immigrant mothers who came here after getting married, and then they had the children here, and how their own multicultural experience of rearing children here how their own culture upbringing is affecting their own rearing here. It was a very very good experience for me. So, and supervisor will help you a lot. And the last thing was, okay, yes, familiarizing myself with different assessments. So they are, it's not like our kind of assessment. The assessments are here very different. There is no quizzes, no presentations. Some it also depends on the course as well. I didn't have any presentation. I just had one presentation in the last, and that too was you had to record it and send it. So you have to just their assignment kind of things, like term papers and open book exams. So it was different for me, but it was not that difficult because I was trained to do those kind of things. So it also depends on your own experience. So you can work only for 20 hours in the UK if you're a student, and it you can only work part time. And you can work, for example, if you want to work in the SCN schools, you need to have this uh, police character certificate that you have to get it from Pakistan. They will, your police, local police will guide it for you. And some students who work in takeaways, they work as waiters, order takers. Some work as carers and support workers, but it's a quite difficult job. Then they have very volunteering opportunities. It's not like a you can't work, you can work for 20 hours. There are some students, I would like to highlight here, there are some students who work illegally. Illegally means legally you can only work 20 hours, so they work more than 20 hours. But what they do, that they take the amount in cash. So if they find it, it will be very bad for you. You won't get any future visa here. it, I don't know what can be the consequences, but what I want to say, that you have to go by the rules. If you're going by the rule, you are safe, you're good to go. So psychology in the UK. So why psychology? UK is for psychology. So it has reputable institutions, accredited programs, diverse specializations. There are so many fields in psychology here. It's not like Pakistan, where everyone is running towards clinical psychology. So you have so many options. Then they have multicultural environment. When you go in different companies, they have people from working there from India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from from any other part of the world, Africa. So they have all those things in one. All of those people working together. They have very strong professional networks. They basically encourage you and lets you have a practical experience. Their psychology I always pronounce this word wrong. Apprenticeships here. Apprenticeships means that they will offer you a job and they will give you money to train, to study, and it was like your kind of salary. So you are getting a salary from your job, and also having a degree in that particular thing. So there are so many psychology apprenticeships here for those people who are living basically here. So if you have right to work in the UK, you can go for this thing and you can search for it online. Then there are varied psychology professions. Like here I have just given you the pathway to become a clinical psychologist. For example, you need to have undergraduate degree in psychology. Then you need to have, you can work as a you can have you can work as an assistant psychologist. Then you can work in different, basically you have to gain some experience. Experience should be minimum 2 years. Then you can apply for the postgraduate clinical psychology training, that is called doctorate in clinical psychology here. And for after that, you can become a clinical psychologist here. And after 6 years working as a clinical psychologist, you are called consultant psychologist in the UK. So these are different kind of professions. Like we have clinical psychologists, counseling, forensic health. Then they have different assistant roles for psychologists, like those people who don't have any doctorate, but they want, for example, if I want to work, I can work as an assistant psychologist because I don't have that license to work here right now. So before having the license, what I can work in other profession, but not as a psychologist. So you have various options to choose from. This is a route uh, by the BPS. And basically, if you want to become a clinical psychologist, there's a different route: educational, counseling, health, forensic, occupational, sports, and teaching and research. So they have different routes for different fields, and you can go for it. I will share it with Miss Rabia, and she can share it with you. So in the end, I would just like to say that pursuing a psychology degree in the UK presents a wealth of opportunities for you, lots of exposure for you, and you get to meet so many people from diverse cultural backgrounds. You get to do your own research. So there are so many benefits, and so basically it grows you professionally, personally, emotionally. My experience has reinforced my commitment to this part. I know, I realize that I have, this is my path, and I have not taken a bad decision. And I encourage each one of you to consider how this journey could shape your professional aspirations. And as you move forward, let's embrace the potential that studying psychology has to offer and work together to promote mental health awareness. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome any questions you may have. And I have taken a lot of your time. So these are your
Thank you so much, Miss Halima, for your time and your sharing your valuable expertise on this. It was such an informative session. I personally got to learn a lot from you, and I think we have already these messages in the chat where people are really praising your presentation. So very well done, Halima. Very well done. We are really honored to have
Thank
you here.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maheen.